Hi brothers and sisters, I am in a coffee shop actually making a video and seeing if I can upload it, and I thought I would make kind of a fun video, sort of, and it's about dreams, and I'm not very much of a dreamer, but I thought maybe I would share some of my dreams and kind of just throw them out there. I think it's kind of fun when people share their dreams and they connect with something that you've heard, or even maybe one of your own dreams, and so I thought I'm gonna do that. So it does seem a little bit weird to film this while I'm at a coffee shop. It's pretty dead, but anyway, I wanted to share. So I have one dream on my channel that I've kept up because it's a pretty good, it was probably one of maybe my second dream that I really knew was from the Lord, and so I've kept that up. And these are not in the dreams I'm going to share. I'm just going to kind of go over them really quickly. And this video is really for people who understand dreams, who get them, whether you get them a lot or occasionally. So my first dream was, it was war, and it was war in the heavens. And so the way that the dream played out, I'm going to leave out a lot of details because I want to cover like 3 or 4 dreams in one video. The way the dream played out was there was danger outside. It was in my house that I live in now, and when I had this dream I did not live in the house I live in now. So we lived in a very small house, and in my dream we lived in a house with lots of windows, and that's what this house is now. And we've lived in this house for going on 5 years. So when this happened, I was looking out my front window, which allowed me to see the corner, or the corner house, and I saw these kids coming around. There's like a fly because Layla has her Pop-Tart open, and I think, anyways, these kids were kind of coming around, and they were just up to no good, but they didn't look really scary or thug-like or anything. They were just like kind of punks. And so in the dream, I told my son, my younger son, hey, we need to close up. And so we closed all of our windows. We weren't scared. It was just like, oh, the bad kids are out. Not thug looking, but they're up to no good. So we start closing all the windows, and there's a ton of windows, so it's like an event, right? So we're closing all the windows, and I remember to tell him, don't forget the laundry room, which is really interesting because when I had that dream, I did not have a laundry room, and now I do. Okay, so we closed everything, and even though the windows were closed, the blinds were shut, curtains were pulled, little bits of light would come through because it wasn't yet dark outside, and the whole inside floor of my house was pink. It was pink. The ground was pink, and I'm like, what's that? So we just go outside, and we look out, and all my neighbors are out too, and everyone's looking up, and the clouds, the sky was pink and purple, and then it turned into this like really dark and evil looking sky, and the clouds turned into like horses and chariots, and there was 2 sides, and they were waging war. And I started to go up, and I remember looking down at my kids, and I was like, why aren't they going up? And I was like just confused, like I don't understand. And then I started to go back down, and that's all I remember. And then another dream I had more recent, within this month, I dreamt that I was driving. It was a really dark, scary kind of night, and I had all these like cars coming out at me, and I was swerving in and out, and I was by myself in this car, and some of these cars were like snakes, like Hot Wheel like snakes, and I was like, this is nuts. So I finally get to where I'm supposed to be, or I get out, and I'm with all these other people, and we're outside, and while we're outside, these people, like if this is a person, they start flipping like super rapidly, and they're not the ones doing it, they're being elevated and they're flipping, right? And I'm like, oh my goodness, I know this, I've had a dream about this before. And so I started praying, because I'm understanding this is a demonic attack. And so I'm praying, and the Lord is saying, worship. So, okay, worship. So I'm worshiping, and I look over and I see this lady at the other end, and she's crying, and she is either already been flipped or she's going to get flipped, and she knows it. And so she's crying, and I'm trying, I know that God said, only worship, don't talk, just worship, don't even pray, worship. And I was like, okay. So I started to, try to tell her, like, with sign language, kind of like, I don't use sign language, but like, you have to worship, you have to worship. And I was going like this, telling her to worship. And she finally realized it, because I don't think with the chaos that was happening, she couldn't hear what I was singing. And I don't remember what I was singing, I was just worshiping. And so she started worshiping, and she didn't get attacked. I think that's a good idea of how God is telling us, the church, that are awake today, on how to battle. Yes, we need to pray. Yes, we need to be in the Word, but we need to worship. And a lot of times I hear that something that is, I notice it's something that's left out of a lot of sermons and teachings. Worshiping is huge. It takes the attention off of us and it puts it on Him, and you're always going to win with that. The other dream I had was kind of an interesting dream, and there's not much to it. I was sleeping. There are specific details in the dream that are just specific to me, and I'd rather keep them to myself. But I was sleeping, and I was kind of propped up, and when I kind of woke up, and my whole body was like vibrating. And I live in California, so an earthquake, we don't really get that many, but I would be able to recognize one. I've lived here my whole life. And so the bed wasn't shaking, it was just me, and I was like vibrating. And I'm looking down at my body, and I'm like, why am I vibrating? Like, this is weird. And my daughter comes running to me. This is what I would guess to be in the middle of the night. And she says, Mom, is this it? And I was like, and at the same time, I knew, oh, we're being transitioned. And I said, this is it, this is it. And I could also see myself as I was also myself, and the whole room was blue. It was dark outside, but it was like a blue light. I don't know what that source was. I don't know why it looked blue. I have some ideas, but I'm just gonna leave that out there. And a dream I had this year, I think that dream I might have had last year. This year I had a dream, and it was maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago. And I wanna say that this dream included 3 people, 2 other people, 3 people total, including myself, in my family, which I won't share their dreams because I didn't ask permission, but they also had dreams of either rapture or heaven. Okay, so all in the same night. Okay, and I'll tell you how they came about. So my dream was, I was driving with my husband, we were in our car, and we have 3 rows in our car, and he was going to go on an overpass, and I thought to tell him, like, you're going too fast, you need to slow down. But in real life, that is not his favorite thing that I do. So I was like, maybe I shouldn't say anything. So I did it. Well, when we went to the overpass, he realized that he was going too fast. And so we broke through this barrier, that you have on freeways, this wall barrier. We broke through it, and I grabbed his hand and I said, we're gonna see Jesus. And I unbuckled my seat, which obviously, dreams, right? I unbuckle my seat, I climb to the back where my girls are. Now, my oldest daughter is behind me, and it's nighttime that we're driving, so I can't see her, but I can see my middle daughter. I can see my youngest daughter in the middle, and I can see my middle daughter on the right, and I grabbed them, but I'm talking to everybody, and I do believe that I knew that my son, maybe both of them, were in the 3rd row, but it was completely dark. I couldn't see because it was nighttime. And when you have those screens in the front of your car, you can actually, it kind of lights up the car, inside the car a little bit. So I could see my youngest, and I could see my middle daughter. And I lean on her seat, and I'm like, we're gonna see Jesus. And if you know my littlest, she has this smile that she's had since she's been a baby, where her eyes almost go missing, and she is, she's so, it's whenever she feels a lot of love, or when she's giving the best of her love. I know that sounds weird to say because she's only 4, but since she's been a baby, if she was laying there as a little infant and you give her little kisses all over her face, she smiles and her eyelashes just hit the top of her eyebrows, and she just smiles so huge, and it's really the sweetest thing. Well, anyways, that was a smile that she gave me. And then the car started to flip, right? But inside, we were like floating inside, like in our seats. and the car, the metal part, the frame of the car is flipping, very much like demonically now, flipping forwards like this. This is the third dream I've had where it's not good, forward flipping. And so the car starts flipping, and I'm like, I said, I didn't know this was going to happen, because I'm thinking we're getting raptured. And so again, it's a dream, so we know scripture is not, it's very quickly, but I go back to the front, I put my seatbelt on, and I'm like, down for the ride, let's do this, let's see what we're going to see. And all of a sudden, we never hit the ground, by the way. We're now in space, and I see again all of these pinks and purples and like swirls, and I am not a science person, so I cannot describe anything to you in any scientific terms. So this is what you get. But everything was colorful, and it was either stars or planets, and they were massive. I mean, they were like huge, and I was like, oh my goodness, like we were in space. And behind that, you could see it was just pitch black. And then I woke up. Well, that morning, I got up in the middle of the night, and then I went back to sleep. Satan attacked that dream when I woke up. I rebuked it. I was so tired, I went straight back to sleep. I woke up in the morning to my son, my oldest son, having texted me, and he said, Mom, call me. I want to tell you my dream. He was already at work. So I text him, he calls me, and he tells me his dream about heaven. And his dream was so real that he started his whole day thinking that what he dreamt actually happened. And at one point in his morning, he was like, wait a minute, that didn't happen, that couldn't have happened. And he literally had to like understand that that was a dream and that was not real. And again, that's his dream, so I don't want to share that. And then maybe an hour later, my mom texts me, and she says, my youngest niece just had a dream, and it was about heaven. It was actually about the rapture. And she's 5, I think. Sorry, they're grinding coffee. She's 5. So again, that's her dream to share, so I won't share that. But all those dreams happened in one night. And so the Lord is speaking. And no, there's no dates or anything like that. There's no anything. This is, I take it as these rapture dreams as pure encouragement. And I think that the dream about worshiping through the attacks is a word of wisdom for us to remember not to forsake that in our relationship with the Lord. He really does love that. He loves that, and we love it if we're being really truthful. We know what it does for us, even when we're by ourselves, right? We don't have to be in corporate worship. The dreams of war and me going up and coming down, I think, was basically just God saying, it's not yet. It looks like it. The skies might even be declaring it, but it's not yet. I came back down. I wasn't sad that my kids were left there. I was confused. I was like, I don't get it. This doesn't make sense to me, because I knew the word and I understood what was happening, and so it was almost like, here we go. Oh no, not yet, not yet. And we know that right now Israel has delayed their war, because my country is just stinky. But either way, whatever the reasons are, it's been delayed. And so we take this time to, occupy and redeem what we have left. And so anyways, I hope this was encouraging. And again, if you're not into dreams and you stuck through this, I hope it blesses you. And if you aren't into dreams and you listen to this, I'm not sure why you did. But anyways, I hope you guys have a really good weekend. Bye.